A honeymoon gone wrong and a twisted captor with chilling plans. It was supposed to be a romantic getaway, a honeymoon in the serene isolation of Crescent Lake. But for Erik and Johanna, their dream turned into a nightmare. And their story of survival is as unbelievable as it is terrifying. Erik and Johanna, a newlywed couple from Sweden, had long dreamed of visiting the rugged landscapes of North America. They were adventurers at heart, and after their wedding, they wanted to spend a few days completely unplugged from the world. Crescent Lake, with its breathtaking scenery and quiet solitude, seemed perfect for this escape. On Tuesday morning, they arrived at their rented cabin, a quaint retreat nestled in the forest by the lake's edge. They were thrilled and spent their first days hiking, taking photos, and enjoying the solitude of their surroundings. The next few days were bliss. They explored the lake, kayaked along its shore, and settled into the peaceful rhythms of nature. But Crescent Lake had a darker side. It was isolated, surrounded by thick forests with few people around, a place where no one would hear a cry for help. But Johanna had started to feel a strange sensation, like they were being watched. She dismissed it at first, thinking it was just her nerves, but as each day passed, her feeling of unease only grew. By Friday afternoon, the couple was last seen by a neighboring cabin guest. They were by the lake, laughing and taking pictures, when suddenly a loud scream was heard. The neighbor thought it was just a couple being playful. But that scream would be the last sound anyone heard from Erik and Johanna. That night, when the caretaker arrived to check on the cabins, he found their cabin door wide open. Their belongings were there, undisturbed, and the only thing missing was the couple themselves. Authorities were called, and an immediate search began, but no sign of Erik or Johanna was found. They had simply vanished. Over the next few days, search teams scoured Crescent Lake and the surrounding forest. They found only a few faint clues, footprints leading to the lake's edge, and a camera lying half buried in the sand. It was Erik's camera, filled with photos from their trip. When authorities reviewed the memory card, they found photos of Erik and Johanna happily exploring the area. But towards the end of the roll, the photos took a disturbing turn. In one shot, a shadowy figure is seen lurking between the trees, watching the couple. In another, a hand appears to be reaching toward the camera lens, as if someone tried to grab it away. But the most chilling discovery was yet to come. Investigators found a hidden note inside the cabin, wedged behind a picture frame, scrawled in desperate handwriting, "We're not alone here. Please, find us before he does." It was signed with both their names, but the handwriting was shaky, and it didn't match either Erik or Johanna's. Authorities now knew they were dealing with something sinister. The locals whispered about a man named Tom Miller, a local recluse who lived alone in a cabin deep in the forest. Known for his strange behavior and sometimes aggressive warnings, Tom had developed a reputation for harassing hikers and campers, telling them to stay away from his territory. Officers quickly learned that Tom had been spotted near Crescent Lake the night of Erik and Johanna's disappearance. Confronted by authorities, he acted suspiciously, giving vague answers about his whereabouts. Unknown to anyone at the time, Erik and Johanna were, in fact, alive. Tom had been watching them for days and, on Friday afternoon, had lured them away from the lake under the guise of warning them about dangerous animals nearby. But once he had them alone, he turned violent, tying them up and holding them captive in a makeshift shelter deep within the forest. For 3 days, Erik and Johanna were trapped, their lives hanging by a thread as Tom became increasingly erratic, taunting them and claiming the forest was his territory and they were trespassers who had to pay. But Erik and Johanna were determined to survive. On the third night, while Tom was away gathering supplies, Erik managed to loosen the rope binding his hands. In a daring move, he freed Johanna, and the couple escaped into the forest, running in the darkness toward the lake. Realizing they were missing, Tom quickly pursued them, following their tracks. Erik and Johanna ran barefoot and injured, navigating through thick underbrush and rough terrain. With only moonlight to guide them, every shadow felt like Tom closing in on them. The couple eventually made it to the edge of the lake, where they saw flashlights in the distance, search teams combing the area. They frantically waved and shouted, their voices barely above a whisper from exhaustion. Luckily, a search party saw them just in time and rushed to their aid. With Erik and Johanna safe, authorities moved quickly. Tom Miller was apprehended that same night, captured as he scoured the woods, still searching for his missing captives. He was arrested on multiple charges, including kidnapping and attempted murder. Erik and Johanna survived their horrifying ordeal and returned to Sweden shortly after Tom's arrest. The couple has since shared their story, hoping to warn others about the dangers they faced and the courage it took to survive. Crescent Lake still holds its dark secrets, but one thing is clear. Erik and Johanna's bravery brought an end to a reign of terror no one saw coming. What would you do to survive? Don't forget to like and subscribe to 0 Hour Files. Thank you for watching.